My best friend of 15 years slept with my girlfriend while I was in chemotherapy for testicular cancer. I found out through a photo she sent to the wrong phone. 4 years later he added me on LinkedIn when they made me regional director of his industry. 6 months ago I got a LinkedIn connection request from a name that hadn't touched my phone in 4 years. The profile photo was different. David had grown a beard, gained a little weight, and was in what looked like his living room with a little girl on his shoulders, but the name was the same. David Castillo. The note he sent below the request said, "Hermano, it's been a while. I hope you're well. Before we get to the part where everything falls apart, if you enjoy watching strangers get what's coming to them, hit subscribe. We're all here for the same reason and it's okay to admit it." Okay, back to the story. When you have a minute, can we talk? I read it from my desk, in my new office with a view of the Miami airport, a week after I'd been promoted to regional director for Latin America at the company where I work. I didn't accept the request. I looked at it for 3 minutes. I blocked the profile. I went back to the meeting I was having with 2 managers in the conference room. Let me back up. My name is Rodrigo. My friends call me Rod. I'm 36 years old. Cuban-Mexican-American, my mom Susana is Cuban from Cienfuegos, my dad Antonio was Mexican from Veracruz, and I was born in Miami. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment downtown with a view of the bay, in a glass tower my grandma rented in the 90s when it was still cheap. I'm single. I've been with Pamela, Chilean, 34, export trader, for 4 years, but we don't live together. My dad died 8 years ago of a heart attack. My mom lives in a Cuban suburb of the city with my Aunt Yolanda. My older sister Maria Elena lives in Tampa with her husband and 2 kids. The company where I work is called North Latam Foods, Hispanic foods distributor for the U.S. market with presence in 5 states. I've been there 9 years. I started as regional account manager. 6 months ago they promoted me to regional director, Latam. I run the whole region, Florida, Texas, California, Illinois, New York. 5 regional managers report to me. My ex-best friend is named David Castillo. We called him Davo. He's 36. Cuban-American, I met him in high school in the same suburb where I grew up. We shared lockers, salsa club girlfriends, and a mediocre band we put together at 16 where he played bass and I sang badly. We went to different colleges but we kept being each other's best friend for the next 15 years. He was my sister's godfather at her wedding, he was the first name I would have put down if I got married, he was the one I watched soccer finals with. He was family. My ex-girlfriend is named Camila Restrepo. Colombian from Medellin who came to Miami at 20 to study architecture at a local university. 2 years younger than David and me. I met her when I was 29. Camila was 26. I introduced her to the family the 2nd year. My mom loved her like a daughter. My sister texted with her. David met her the first month we started dating, at a barbecue. David said about her in private, "Hermano, you hit the lottery. We'd been together 4 years when they diagnosed me." I'm going to tell a dozen things, because if I don't, this sounds small and it wasn't small. At 32, in a routine checkup, I went because I felt something I didn't understand. The doctor checked me and 3 weeks later told me, "Rod, it's stage 2A testicular cancer." It was treatable, high success rate, but it required fast surgery and 6 chemotherapy cycles in 4 months. They operated 15 days later. I started chemo the following month at a hospital across town. David showed up at the hospital room the morning of the surgery at 6. He told me, "Hermano, I'm here." Camila got there at 9 when I was already in post-op. The 4 months of chemo left me without hair, without eyebrows, 28 pounds lighter. I threw up 8 hours straight the first 2 nights after each cycle. Camila came to the apartment the first week after each cycle. David came Monday afternoons with Cuban tortoise from his favorite spot. My mom came Wednesdays. My sister called every day from Tampa. In week 4 Camila started staying less. She'd tell me, "Mi amor, I have a project at the firm, I have deliverables." I'd tell her, "Cami, don't worry, come when you can." Pamela, not the current one, another Pamela who was a friend from work, told me in private in week 6, "Rod, does Camila come around a lot?" I said, "She has projects." Pamela looked at me and didn't say more. In week 8 David stayed with me a full Saturday. I was very bad. David made me soup, changed the wet towels, read me chapters from a Junot Diaz book because I couldn't keep my eyes open to read. At 7 that night he told me, "Hermano, I'll be back, I'll let Vanessa know I'm sleeping over." Vanessa was his girlfriend of 6 years at the time. He stayed until Monday morning when he left for work. In week 12 the doctors told me I was responding. In week 16 I finished the last cycle. Camila took me to take a photo with the oncology team at the hospital. I posted it on Instagram. 500 likes. David commented, "Mi hermano, I love you, I admire you, you're a champion." Camila commented with a heart emoji. Over the next 4 months I gained weight back, my hair came back, I returned to work full time. Camila started being different with me. We saw each other less. The intimacy cooled. I assumed it was trauma from the months, that she needed time. I gave her time. 7 months after the last chemo, Camila called me on a Friday and said, "Rod, I need a break." I asked her what was happening. She said, "I need time to think." I said, "Cami, are you sure?" She said, "Please." I said, "Okay." I didn't beg. I told her I respected her decision and wished her well. That night David called me. He said, "Hermano, what happened?" Cami called me crying. I said, "Davo, she asked for a break. I'm going to let her breathe." David said, "Rod, you're a champ. I'm here for whatever you need." I left my phone without answering messages that night. 2 weeks later, on a Sunday at 11 at night, I got an iMessage notification. It was from Camila. The photo downloaded automatically before I saw the contrast on the screen. It was a photo of Camila naked on a bed, looking at the mirror, smiling. The bed had a comforter I didn't recognize. The wall had a painting I didn't recognize. The light was from a room I didn't recognize. The text said, "Miss you baby. Vanessa is going with her mom on Friday." I read the message twice. I closed the app. I poured myself water. I opened it again. I read it again. The photo had a date stamp in the metadata. 8 months earlier. October. I had been in my 3rd chemo cycle in October. Vanessa was David's girlfriend. The bed was David's bed. The room was David's apartment. I had visited it twice in my life. I got up. I walked from the bedroom to the living room. I sat on the couch. I went back to the bedroom. I lay down. I got up. My phone vibrated 4 minutes later. It was Camila. "Rodrigo perdoname ese no era para ti. Rodrigo por favor. Rodrigo, I'm coming to your place." I didn't reply. I blocked Camila on iMessage, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on my personal email. It took me 6 minutes. Then I blocked David on the same 5 places. Took me another 6. That same night, at 1 in the morning, I called Camilo Vargas, another friend from the high school crew, and asked him to come with me to my lawyer's office Monday morning. Camilo asked, "Is something going on?" I said, "I'll tell you later." I told him a month later. At 2 in the morning I went to sleep. The next day I went to the gym at 6. I worked Monday like normal. I didn't reply to Camila's message. I didn't reply to David's. I didn't go to their weddings, didn't go to their birthdays, didn't go to their parties. I didn't post anything. My mom asked me 2 months later why Camila wasn't coming to lunch anymore. I told her, "Mommy, we broke up." I didn't give her more. My mom said, "Mijo, you'll know." Vanessa left David 3 months later. Camilo told me at a dinner the following year, not knowing why. I said, "Camilo, I don't want to talk about him." Camilo nodded. We never went back to it. The next 4 years were calm. I climbed at North Latam Foods from senior account manager to regional director. The current Pamela was introduced to me by my sister at a wedding in Tampa. For years together. Pamela knows the Camila story at 80%, she's missing the photo. I've never shown the photo to anyone. I deleted it 3 months after I got it, after I printed it in black and white and put it in a safe at the office. It's the only time in my life I've printed a digital photo. I took it out of the safe once, 2 years ago, when I was closing a tough negotiation and I needed to remember why I don't reply to people who ask me for what they don't deserve. Then I put it back. David separated from Vanessa. Vanessa never found out why she got left, I assume, because David was never going to tell her about Camila if Vanessa left him for some other reason. Camila went back to Medellin 6 months later. Camilo told me he saw a photo of her with a new husband at a Colombian wedding 2 years ago. I said, "Good for her." David stayed in Miami. He got into a small Hispanic foods distributor, North Latam's direct competitor, smaller scale, as account manager. When I got promoted to regional director Latam, my name and my face went out in the industry's internal newsletter. North Latam acquired 3 small distributors in the last 2 years. David's was in the first evaluation round but didn't make it past. Last month, 2 months after I declined his LinkedIn request, David emailed my corporate inbox at North Latam. It said, "Rod, I know you have reasons not to reply, but I'm in a very rough spot at the company where I work. We both know North Latam evaluated buying us. If you're open to looking again, I'd appreciate 1 minute." I read it in the car, stopped at a light on the way to the office. I didn't reply. I deleted it. Camila asked me that night, not knowing it was him, "Rod, you're off today." I said, "Mi vida," an email came from someone I didn't want to see. Camila asked, "Want to talk about it?" I said, "Another day. One day I'll tell her." The photo I saved is the only evidence I needed 4 years ago to know what happened. I didn't read words. I read the room. The bed was David's. The painting was David's. The light was from his lamp. The text was beside the point. Camila sent me 2,000 words over the 5 days that followed. David sent me 3,000 more. I didn't read any of them. The photo she sent by mistake had an October timestamp. I had done my 3rd cycle of chemotherapy that month. The difference between the two of them and me is that I didn't need anyone to explain to me what I already knew how to read. A Hispanic foods distributor in 5 states doesn't need it either. When I saw David's email last month I thought about writing one line back, then I deleted it, because the photo I keep in the safe at the office had already answered everything 4 years ago.